This is the Draft Guys podcast with Peyton and Niko, and we're coming at you live with a three-round mock draft for the Arizona Cardinals today. And we're looking at the Arizona Cardinals and looking at what the Arizona Cardinals did in free agency. And Pete, I want you to talk to me about their free agency.
Yeah, I think this was just them plugging holes. I don't think there was any major signings. The only one that I think we were really expecting them to be in the mix with was the Malik Willis signing, and they didn't end up getting that done. So, again, just, obviously getting the guard in there, spent a good amount of money there, about $10 million a year. But other than that, nothing really too crazy here. So they're definitely angling themselves for a big draft.
And that's great because we get to analyze that right now. They don't have a quarterback. That's one of their main team needs. We'll see what the machine has for us. They have obviously the third pick, and we're going to look at the other picks that they have in their draft. We're going to go through it right now. Here we go. So the machine, oh wow, the machine goes Jeremiah Love at 2 to the Jets, whatever. The Cardinals are on the clock, and Pete, are you looking at a specific need? Who are you looking at on the board here for this Arizona Cardinals team?
Yeah, my gut instinct always starts with tackle, and Francis Maliano is the only guy I think even in the conversation here because Freeling I think is a true left tackle. If you were going to draft him, you'd be projecting him to right tackle, and they already have a left tackle, so they have most of those needs filled on that offensive line except for right tackle. And I think that was one of the things we had talked about was they didn't sign a right tackle in free agency. They didn't sign anybody to plug that hole. And so I think this is a trade out spot, or I think it's a stick and pick. And the first player that comes to my mind is Francis Malianoa.
I would have to agree with that. We're going to put that pick in right now. Francis Mauigoa is going to the Cardinals at number 3. Like Pete said, it could be a trade back spot. Maybe you can get Ty Simpson a little bit later if you can get some compensation. But we're going to go through the machine and we're going to see Francis Mauigoa go right here. We're going to sim to the next pick for the Cardinals, which ultimately is going to be pick number 34. And we're going to see who's on the board here. Okay. So looking at the
Mm.
guys who kind of went, Denzel Boston was the first pick, which that was in our other mock draft that we did. We picked that for him in our War Room mock, but now they're at number 34. And you see guys on the board. Are you looking at a specific spot of need for this Cardinals team? For me, I think outside linebacker, I think defensive end, I think a wide receiver 2 or 3, maybe an interior offensive lineman, but obviously that quarterback 1.
Yep. And quarterback one's here. Ty Simpson is on the board. I absolutely think that if this situation happens, this is a grand slam for them. And again, I think this is realistic. I think his range starts, um, you know, maybe outside that top 10. I think the Rams could still be in play for him and someone trading down in that area or someone trading up if the Jets were to move up or some of the Steelers were to move up to try and grab him. And his floor is about here. I think there's a chance he makes it to this top of the second round. We've seen guys in the past few years go from this late first to early second range, whether that was Shuck last year, Dart last year. The list goes on and on. And so I think this is realistic. I think Ty Simpson could fall here. If he falls here, I think the Cardinals are absolutely going to take him.
We're going to put that pick in. The Cardinals are going to come out with Francis Mauigoa and Ty Simpson in their first 2 picks. We're going to look at their third round pick after the simulation goes through. It's going to be pick number 65. Really good haul for this Cardinals team
Oh
so
yeah,
far.
great start.
So, as we
Mhm.
stated, they already got their quarterback 1 and their right tackle of the future out of the way. Got some other needs, maybe an edge rusher, maybe a wide receiver 2 or 3. We're going to look at who's on the board here. Trying to think, Pete, on who could we see? Are there any wide receivers? I don't think that. Oh,
Oh
Zachariah
yeah,
Branch is on the
yeah, that's
board.
what I
We
saw
love
too.
Zachariah Branch. We're gonna look over to what's another position of need. We're gonna look at that edge. Let's see who's in the edge market. Those are kind of guys that we already have mocked in this range, a little bit lower probably, but in the 65 range, I don't think the value is there to take an
Mm,
edge rusher.
I
Pete,
don't
what are
either.
you
Yeah,
thinking?
I don't either. Those are not the guys that I wanted to see. I was hoping somebody would fall into that range, and they didn't. I will say Anthony Hill and Josiah Trotter are both tempting here. If gun to my head, you're not allowed to take Francis Malianoa at 3. I'm taking Sonny Styles at 3. I'm taking him at that pick, and so to have a linebacker here of that value, I think is interesting. Both of those guys, those two as well as Zachariah Branch are the 3 players I'm kind of toggling between right now.
Is it realistic? Do you think Anthony Hill is going to drop this far?
Yeah, if people don't, if the league does not value um his pass coverage the way and doesn't see the upside there because that's kind of his not glaring weakness, but the weakness of his game right now. And someone wants him to be able to be more of a roaming linebacker rather than downhill linebacker, I think the league could drop on him. I'll tell you what, I think we go branch here. I think that's the best value. You've got a young quarterback. You get him a right tackle and you get him a slot receiver, a weapon to go with Marv, to go with the other guys in that room. I think that's the move here.
I think that's what we're going to do. Zachariah Branch is going to go to the Cardinals here at 65. It's a value move. We love Zachariah Branch. Zachariah Branch, for me, is my 42 ranked player in this class. He's higher on Peden's board. I
Yeah.
think he's the number 29 player on his. It's unbelievable to see if they can get this haul. And what does this ultimately mean as we put this pick in and we finish this mock draft? What does this mean for this Cardinals team that really just came away with a really good haul?
This is a great haul. And this is, that range we see people take chances on those quarterbacks. Even if it doesn't work out, I think you have a really great right tackle, or at the worst, a really great guard if he does happen to move inside. And you have a really good receiver who I think I have a first round grade on him. I don't know how you pulled it out that I had him at 29. That was crazy impressive, but I got him at 29. Like, I think he's really good. And so, this is a move that will pay dividends just in these first 3 rounds for a long time, whether or not Ty Simpson works out.
The Arizona Cardinals 3 round mock draft. If you like this mock draft, stay tuned for all of our 32 team mock drafts that we're going to be sending to you guys on the platform providers of Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and of course, YouTube. Thank you guys.